Leeds International School, Grade 9, First Term, Science, Chapter 4, Basic Concepts Associated with Force. Objectives of the lesson. After you watch this video, you can get an idea about the force, and also you will be able to identify what is force and identify magnitude of force, recognize direction of force and point of application, and also identify graphical representation of force. Force. What is this force? Do you have any idea about force? A force is an action that changes or maintains the motion of an object. Simply stated, a force is a push or a pull. Forces can change an object's speed, its direction, and even its shape. Now let's see what are the examples of force. When a person kicks a ball gets moved. Pushing a door open, pulling it closed, stretching a rubber band, all these actions require force. By applying a force, object at rest can be moved, object in motion can be stopped, the shape of the motion can be changed, the direction of motion can be changed, and also the shape of object can be changed. Magnitude of force. Force is a vector quantity, that is, it has both magnitude and direction. Magnitude means the size of the force. A ball can be moved slowly by hitting slightly. If you hit it harder, it moves fast. When hitting slowly, applies a small force. Hitting fast, applies a large force. Thus, it is clear that a force has a magnitude. Although forces cannot be seen directly, their effects can be observed and measured. Force is measured using a spring balance. The unit of measurement for force is Newton, symbolized by the letter N, and named in honor of the English physicist Isaac Newton. There are spring balancers in school laboratories which are calibrated in newtons. But spring balancers which are used for commercial purposes are usually calibrated in grams or kilograms. Direction of force and point of application. As we discussed earlier, force is a vector quantity which has magnitude and direction both. Forces act in a particular direction and have size dependent upon how strong the push or pull is. When ball is hit by a bat, its direction changes. And also a ball strikes on a wall and rebounds due to the reaction given by the wall on the ball. Now let's see what is this point of application. The point of an object where force acts is called the point of application. Consider a bottle placed on a table. If it is pushed with the finger kept close to the bottom, it will move away along the table top. But if it is pushed at the top, it may topple. The point of an object on which the force is exerted is known as the point of application of force. Graphically representation of force. Graphical representation makes it simple for us to understand data. Vectors can be graphically represented by directed line segments. Graphically, force can be represented by an arrowhead pointing in the active direction. The length is chosen according to some scale to represent the magnitude of the vector. Arrowhead represents the direction of the vector. The point of application is represented by the dot at the starting point of segment of straight line. For example, let us consider a force of 20 newtons acting on the wooden block and a force of 10 newtons acting on the another wooden block. The magnitude of the force of 20 newtons on a wooden block is denoted by the length of the horizontal line. You can observe 20 newtons representing straight line in first diagram. In that wooden block, direction is represented by the arrowhead and the point of application by point A. And now let's move to second diagram. In that diagram, the magnitude of the force of 10 Newton on a wooden block is denoted by the length of the vertical line. In here also, 10 newtons representing straight line. And here the direction by the arrowhead. Arrowhead is into south direction. And again point of application by point B. Straight line of 10 Newton is smaller than the straight line of 20 Newton. What is the reason for this? Reason for this is magnitude of the force is represented by the length of the straight line. The magnitude 20 Newton is larger than 10 Newtons. That's why the 20 Newton straight line is bigger than 10 Newton straight line. Now let's see how we use force in everyday life. The use of force in our everyday life very common. We use force to walk on the road, to lift the objects, to throw a cricket ball. The force of your foot pushing on the pedal when you ride your bicycle. When you walk, you need to use force to push yourself forward. When you go to bed, you use force to pull the blanket over yourself. To brush your teeth, you use force to move side to side. In our day-to-day life, we apply forces on various objects. We have to make an effort to do this type of work. Most of the time, we apply forces in the easiest way to reduce effort. Let us consider a person pushing a loaded cart. The person has to bend and push it with the difficulty as shown in the first figure. To ease the work, a wooden or metal handle can be fitted to the cart as shown in second figure. The point where the force is applied can be changed. This point is called as point of application. In our day-to-day life, we select the way of applying forces in such a way that the work is handled easier. As we need to do our work easily, we use different techniques. What is applied here is not merely the scientific knowledge, but our practical knowledge, experiences also contribute a lot. But if there is some knowledge about forces, our task can be fulfilled easier. With our scientific knowledge and practical knowledge, we can do a better task. Now it is time to check your knowledge about force. Do these multiple choice questions in your writing copy and see how is your understanding about the lesson. If you have better understanding, you will be easily do these 7 questions. Now we are close to the end of this lesson. Now see what is the summary of the lesson. First of all, force is a pull or push. Standard unit of measuring force is Newton. Newton's spring balance is used to measure the magnitude of a force. Force has a direction and a magnitude. Therefore, force is a vector quantity. The point on which the force is acting on the object is known as the point of application of the force. Day-to-day life, activities can be done easily by changing the direction and the point of application of a force. Here we come to the end of the lesson. Thank you very much for joining with me and stay until the end.